In the last month or so, we've seen top editors from multiple newspapers and editorials had to resign across the nation. We had editor of Refinery 29, Bon Appetit, the New York Times, Philadelphia Inquirer, and others. Why did they have to resign? Because toxic culture. This, of course, really means that they were white, but they had to go because of diversity. The New York Times, what happened there, in my opinion, is the most egregious case of all. You see, the New York Times editor for the opinion section had to resign because she allowed Tom Cotton to publish an opinion. Tom Cotton, who is that? A Nazi? A black supremacist? No. He's a sitting United States senator. He's a veteran. Should he not be allowed his opinion on the New York Times? You best believe, sister. But since some New York Times employees believed that Tom Cotton's op-ed was putting the New York Times black employees' life in danger, they had to pull it. And then the editor had to resign. And you see, one of the main issues I have with these people is that they think words are violence. And if they ever get into power, your opinions will be hate speech. And hate speech will be banned. And who decides what hate speech is? They do. In academia, it's sad, honestly. It's sad. Everything is looked through a prism of racism. And I used to joke that math would never succumb to wokeism because you can. It's simple. 2 + 2 = 4. But wrong again. This tweet has gone viral recently. The person who wrote it describes herself as a PhD student, teacher, and wannabe math person. Wannabe indeed. In Seattle, and elementary school teachers, they're going to start asking kids how they see math being used for racism, or how they see that statistics being used for racism. That has nothing to do with math class. If you want, do it for sociology or another course, but not with math. But you know what? You want to see how rock solid our teachers are? Check it out.
So I was a 7th grade civics teacher, government teacher, and she is an elementary school teacher.
What year did we get our independence?
17 something. We're teachers.
I actually don't teach what's in our curriculum. I'm teaching children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter.
Are you serious?
Moving on. Those of you who are familiar with the Chinese Revolution in the 60s will be familiar with something called struggle sessions. Struggle sessions were basically public shamings. We don't have that today. We have cancel culture, but the public shamings were way more brutal. And basically Mao unleashed the high school and college students on the population, and they basically what's happening today. Our students are all woke, and they're going into the workforce and canceling everybody, which is a lesser but equivalent of the struggle sessions, cancel culture. It's vicious. Like, you can go back 10 years, you can cancel everybody. The CEO of Boeing, or COO of Boeing, had to resign because of an article he wrote 33 years ago saying that one woman shouldn't be in combat. Woo! What a sexist. What a bigot. Shame on him. The wife of an LA Galaxy soccer player, LA MLS team, tweeted "All Lives Matter," and the player, the LA Galaxy player, had to apologize, and after apologizing, he was fired. Now we have Deshaun Jackson, an NFL player, quoting Farrakhan and Hitler in anti-Semitic rhetoric, but no real consequences. I keep forgetting, anti-Semitism is still fine. Silly ginger, tricks are for kids. Okay, here's what scares me. When these people get into power, things will change for the worse. I hope not, but I think so, if they get into power. I know people are saying, oh, you're exaggerating. We don't have the Chinese Revolution. The cancel culture is not a struggle session. I know it's not. It's not yet. When these people get into power, laws will change. We're seeing it now in California, where the state legislature has voted to repeal the civil rights language from the state constitution. That they're not going to discriminate for color, religion, sex, gender. They took all that out. They voted for it. Now it's up to the people to vote for it in November, but the state legislature has already voted. And why? Why would you remove that? Well, these people want equity. equity of outcome on everything. No matter life experience, no matter individualism, nothing. Everything must be equal. The thing with equity is that it requires discrimination. And first, they're going to start discriminating for minorities. Like, for example, affirmative action, which is not only incredibly racist, but it also, I feel like, it kind of makes people who get in position because of affirmative action like they couldn't do it without it. And second, reparations. How are you going to calculate that? What about people who just moved to the country? What about people who've been here for 2 generations? What about people who had nothing to do with slavery? What about black people who weren't enslaved? How are you going to calculate that? You can't. And then, when they realize that discriminating for minorities is not doing it, they're going to start discriminating against majorities, aka white people. And we don't have to wait and see that, and we don't even have to see what safe spaces will become. We've seen it already in jazz. Safe spaces will become segregated. Take a look.
How long's the blackout going for?
Till 8 p.m.
Okay, so I have to wait till 8, basically?
You're welcome to hang out in the perimeter area.
Well, the thing is, I'm half Italian, half Colombian, so do I get a pass to get in there, or?
Well, this space is right now held for just black folks.
Oh, just black, okay.
So if you have a woke friend or family member, I urge you to ask them, what will it take for them to realize that this is going down a horrible path? How many people need to lose their jobs, or for how many years can someone go back on someone's story to cancel them? Can we not learn from our mistakes? Can we not have different opinions? Aren't you scared of hate speech legislation? I am. So what do you think? Has woke culture gone too far? Is cancel culture too much? Or am I exaggerating? Comment down below, and don't forget, like and subscribe. Ginger.